Welcome to Tips for Writing Effective Cover Letters by Joshua Peiss, brought to you in cooperation with the Purdue Online Writing Lab. In this vidcast, we will offer you a condensed view of the purpose of a cover letter, things you should keep in mind as you draft your cover letters, the functions of various parts of standard cover letters, and some advice for what to do once you finish drafting. Let's begin by looking at the purpose of cover letters. A cover letter, occasionally called an application letter, serves as your introduction to a company or organization. Its key purpose is to express your interest in, and perhaps even more importantly, your qualifications for a particular company or organization. It should go above and beyond your resume, meaning that your cover letter should not be your resume in letter form. Rather, it should extend certain key points in your resume by using concrete examples and linking those examples to the target company or organization. Remember, you're looking for the company to want to hire you, and a well-crafted cover letter is a great way to sell yourself. To that end, there are a couple of things that you'll want to consider before you begin drafting your cover letter. First off, the tone that you take is vital. You need to sound confident without sounding cocky, personal and personable, while still maintaining an air of professionalism. To help shape the tone of your cover letter, you should ask yourself a couple of questions before you begin writing. First, why am I writing this letter? The answer to this one may appear simple. You want a job. But a cover letter really does more than that. Second, who am I writing for and what do I want them to understand? And finally, based on your answer to the above, you should ask yourself, what tone should I use? The tone that you decide to use in your cover letter is an important consideration because it shapes the way your audience views you. To that end, you'll want to take on a confident tone, but you'll want to appear courteous and sincere. This often means avoiding sounding bureaucratic or using too many business cliches. For example, don't say that you're the kind of person that likes to think outside of the box. It sounds trite and contrived. Besides, using a cliche like, I like to think outside of the box, shows that you don't really think outside of the box, at least not in your writing. You should also place appropriate emphasis on your skills and abilities. So, if your strength is in your education, then talk about your education first. Let's say that you've only had one job. Perhaps it's not directly related to the job that you're applying for, but you're set to graduate summa cum laude, you've successfully completed advanced coursework in a particular area, and you're also highly involved in your degree program's professional organization. It may be best to put this information first in your cover letter. That way, to use a cliche, you can put your best foot forward. Also, be sure to use non-discriminatory language. So, instead of using words like chairman, use chairperson. Finally, be sure that you're writing at an appropriate level of difficulty. You don't want to sound trite and condescending to the person that you're writing to. Let's say, for example, you are applying for a job as an assistant network administrator, and you're writing a cover letter that the senior network administrator or the chief technical officer will read. These individuals are highly educated and most likely are also specialists in your field. You may not want to say something like, I also hold a CCSP certification, which, in case you're unsure, is the Cisco Certified Security Professional Certificate from Cisco Systems. This certificate is the gold standard of certification for a network security specialist. Your audience, who may have this exact same certification, or at the very least be aware of this certification, may find this language to be condescending. You could end up alienating your audience, and, especially when you're applying for jobs, alienating your reader could mean that you'll have to settle in for a longer job search. And finally, this one is of particular importance, be sure to stress the value for your reader. To be frank, they don't care if the position is a good match for you. They care about how you'll benefit them and their company or organization. For example, if I'm an HR manager for Widgets Incorporated, and I post a job listing saying that I'm looking for a person that has experience conducting negotiations with other international companies, I don't want to read the statement, I really love to travel and working with people from all over the globe. What I want to hear is, I've completed advanced coursework on international business management, and the principles that I've learned in this coursework has prepared me to handle the unique environment that I may encounter when conducting negotiations with your company's or organization's business partners. Now, all of this means that you need to keep your audience in mind. Keeping your audience in mind means two closely related things. First, don't use boilerplate cover letters. You'll most likely be applying for numerous similar positions, but with different companies or organizations. You shouldn't use the exact same cover letter for each application packet that you send out. Each cover letter should be carefully crafted and personalized to the company or organization that you're applying to. So, you should do your homework on the company or organization that you're applying to. You should, at the very least, research their website and look for their mission statement and their core values. If you can, try talking to someone that works for the company or organization to see what their corporate culture is like. Using terms the company or organization is familiar with may help you to personalize the cover letter even more. With this background in place, let's look at a sample cover letter to see how it works. The first thing that you should notice now that we're looking at a sample cover letter is that this cover letter has been written in a block format. That is, everything is single-spaced, except for an extra space between paragraphs. You should also notice that everything is left justified. That is, everything is flush with this left margin. You'll notice that this cover letter begins by giving the sender's contact information. In this case, the contact information includes the person's name, mailing address, phone number, and email. While this may also appear on your resume and other application documents, you need to include it here as well. After the sender's contact information, we see the date the letter was written and the receiver's contact information. Notice here that this does not include the receiver's phone number or email address. It's important that you start your cover letter off with an appropriate salutation. Use something professional. For our purposes, dear, followed by the person's name, and a colon will do. Don't attempt to get too flashy here, where you risk alienating your reader. From here, let's look at the letter's first paragraph, the introduction. Here you'll want to get your reader's attention and introduce yourself. You'll notice that this person makes a connection with their reader by mentioning that they talked with someone who has already participated in the program that they want to be a part of. The writer then explicitly says that they're interested in a particular position. They say, after speaking with Emily Richards about her past summer in the internship program, I'm very interested in your human resources summer internship position. The writer goes on to show why they are interested in the position. What's special about the position that drew them to it? I worked with employee benefits this past summer and became very interested in the human resources aspect. You'll notice that this introduction ends with the writer mentioning how they will help the company or organization. They say, I've obtained many leadership opportunities while working as a business writing consultant assistant coordinator at Purdue's Writing Lab that would be valuable in a career at Widgets Incorporated. After the introduction, you'll notice that this writer goes on to talk about the skills that they possess and how these skills will benefit the target company or organization. Throughout the body of this letter, the writer provides concrete examples of their skills, like when they say, my position as a Boiler Gold Rush team member also challenged me to use my enthusiastic personality to motivate incoming freshmen to be involved in campus activities. It's important here to use concrete, specific examples, not generalizations. This person also continues to show their own interest in the company. This strategy is a particularly good one because it shows that even if you're applying to other places, this particular company or organization is the place that you want to make home. To wrap up this letter, this individual mentions what they want the next step to be and provides their contact information again. These are both effective strategies to show your dedication to the application process and to reinforce the idea that you have, and to show that you'll bring a certain energy with you should they choose to hire you. To formally close the letter, you'll notice that the writer chooses the relatively standard yet professional ending sincerely. This closing is often the safest bet since you want to maintain a polite and professional tone. This writer then signs their name. Please note that after the signature block, you have some options. You could always repeat your contact information, but that's up to you. You could just sign your name and finish by referencing the other documents that you're sending along. Now, just because you've written the letter doesn't mean that you're finished. Be sure to proofread, edit, and revise the document very carefully. Your cover letter may be the only way that you have to establish an identity with and to leave a lasting impression on the person that will be reading the cover letter. The last thing that you want to do is to have them think that you're the kind of person that doesn't pay attention to details. Also, go through and make sure that you've maintained an appropriate tone throughout and that you've appealed to the company or organization's core values. Another thing to consider doing is to put it down for a few days and to come back later and look at it with a fresh pair of eyes. Along those lines, if you can get someone else to look over it for you, you may be able to get even more feedback. If you need further assistance, you should visit the Purdue Online Writing Lab and examine the information and example cover letters that they have there. Best of luck with your applications. This has been a presentation of Tips for Writing Effective Cover Letters by Joshua Peiss, brought to you in cooperation with the Purdue Online Writing Lab.